base in immaterial becoming is matter a condition here. But in 5 aggregate becoming basis as matter is condition. At rebirth in a sixfold way. For the 6th base, the primaries are for the 5 in fourfold way. 215 as to matter, the materiality of the physical heart basis is a condition in rebirth linking in 6 ways, as conascence, mutuality, support, dissociation, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for the 6th, the mind base. But the 4 primaries are in general, that is to say, in rebirth linking and in the course of an existence, conditions in 4 ways, as conascence, support, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for any of the 5 bases beginning with the I, whenever they arise. 216 life and in lifetime food as well. Conditions 5 in threefold way, these 5, the 6th in sixfold way, basis, the 6th in fivefold way. 217 But in rebirth linking and in the course of an existence the material life faculty is a condition in 3 ways, as presence, non-disappearance, and faculty conditions, for these 5 beginning with the I. Nutriment 2 is a condition in 3 ways, as presence, non-disappearance, and nutriment conditions, and that is so in the course of an existence, not in rebirth linking, and applies when the bodies of beings subsisting on nutriment are suffused with the nutriment. In the course of an existence, not in rebirth linking, those 5 bases beginning with the I are conditions in 6 ways, as support, prenascence, faculty, dissociation, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for that part of the 6th, the mind base, comprising eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness. But in the course of an existence, not at rebirth linking, the materiality of the heart basis is a condition in 5 ways, as support, prenascence, dissociation, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for the remaining mind base apart from the 5 consciousnesses. This is how it should be understood what bases. Materiality alone is a condition for in rebirth linking and in the course of an existence, and how it is a condition. 565. 3. Mentality materiality as condition. 218 Which mind-matter combination is a condition for which kind, and how it is so in each case. A wise man should now seek to find. 219 For example, firstly, in rebirth linking in the 5 constituent becoming, the mentality materiality, in other words, the trio of aggregates. With the materiality of the heart basis, is a condition, as conascence, mutuality, support, result, association, dissociation, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, etc., for the 6th, the mind base. This is merely the heading, but since it can all be construed in the way already stated, the detail is not given here. This is the detailed explanation of the clause with mentality materiality as condition, the sixfold base. 6. Contact. 220 As to the clause with the sixfold base as condition, contact. Contact is briefly of 6 kinds with eye contact and others too. According to each consciousness it is in detail 32. 221 Briefly, with the clause with the sixfold base as condition, contact, there are only the 6 kinds beginning with eye contact, that is to say, eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. But in detail the 5 profitable resultant and the 5 unprofitable resultant beginning with eye contact make 10, the rest, which are associated with the 22 kinds of mundane resultant consciousness, make 22. So all these come to 32, 34, 65, like the consciousness with formations as condition given above. 222 But as to the sixfold base that is a condition for this 32-fold contact. Herein, some wise men take the sixfold base to be the 5 internal bases with the 6th, but others count these plus the 6 external bases. 223 Herein, firstly, there are those who take this to be an exposition of the occurrence of what is clung to, that is, chemically acquired aggregates, and they maintain that the conditioning bases and the conditionally arisen contact are only what is included in one's own continuity. They take any one part to represent any remaining one of its kind, since the condition for contact in the immaterial states is the sixth base only, according to the text, with the sixth base as condition, contact, Vibite 179, and elsewhere it is the sixfold base inclusively. So they have it that sixfold base means the internal five beginning with the I plus the sixth, mind, base. For that sixth base and that sixfold base are styled sixfold base. But there are those who maintain that it is only the conditionally arisen contact that is contained in a single continuity, while the conditioning bases are contained in separate, that is, past continuities as well. They maintain that all and any such bases are a condition for contact, and they include also the six external ones. So they have it that sixfold base means the same internal five plus the sixth plus the external ones beginning with visible data. For that sixth base and that partial sixfold base and the sixfold base along with these external ones each representing the rest 566 are styled sixfold base too. 224. Here it may be asked, one kind of contact does not derive from all the bases, nor all the kinds of contact from one base. And yet with the sixfold base as condition, contact is said in the singular. Why is that? 225. Here is the answer, it is true that neither is one derived from all nor all from one. However, one is derived from many. For eye contact is derived from the eye base, from the visible data base, from the mind base reckoned as eye consciousness, and from the mental datum base consisting of the remaining associated states. And each case should be construed as appropriate in this way. Therefore, though stated in the singular, he shows therewith in all such cases that this contact, though only one, is yet derived from several bases. Though stated in the singular, the meaning is, by this statement in the singular, that with the sixfold base as condition, contact, it is pointed out by the Blessed One, Taitan, that contact, which is of one kind, comes into being from many bases. How the sixfold base is a condition for contact. 226. But as regards these bases, 5 in 6 ways, and after that 1 in 9 ways, the external 6 as contact's conditionality according to each case we fix. 227. Here is the explanation. Firstly, the 5 consisting of the I base, etc., are conditions in 6 ways, as support, prenascence, faculty, dissociation, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for contact classed in 5 ways as eye contact, and so on. After that, the single resultant mind base is a condition in 9 ways, as conascence, mutuality, support, result, nutriment, faculty, association, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for the variously classed resultant mind contact. But in the case of the external bases, the visible database is a condition in 4 ways, as object, prenascence, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for eye contact. Likewise the sound base, etc., respectively for ear contact, and so on. But these and mental data as object are conditions likewise, and as object condition too, for mind contact, so the external 6 as contact's conditionality according to each case we fix. This is the detailed explanation of the clause with the sixfold base as condition, contact. 7. Feeling. 228. As to the clause with contact as condition, feeling. Feelings, when named by way of door-eye contact, born and all the rest, are only 6, but then they are at 9 and 80 sorts assessed. 229. In the analysis of this clause in the Vibhoga, only 6 kinds of feeling according to Door are given thus: eye contact born feeling, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind contact born feeling, Vibite 136. 567. Still, when classed according to association with the 89 kinds of consciousness, they are at 9 and 80 sorts assessed. 230. But from the 9 and 80 feelings 32, no more, appear associated with result. And only those are mentioned here. Herein, contact in the 5 doors conditions 5 and 8-fold way, and single way the rest, it acts in the mind door in the same way. 231 Herein, in the 5 doors contact beginning with eye contact is a condition in 8 ways, as conascence, mutuality, support, result, nutriment, association, presence, and non-disappearance conditions, for the 5 kinds of feeling that have respectively eye sensitivity, etc., as their physical basis. But that contact beginning with eye contact is a condition in one way only, as decisive support condition, for the rest of resultant feeling in the sense sphere occurring in each door as receiving, investigation and registration. 232 In the mind door in the same way, the contact called conascent mind contact is also a condition in the same 8 ways for sense sphere resultant feeling occurring as registration in the mind door, and so also for the kinds of resultant feeling in the 3 planes occurring with rebirth linking, life continuum and death. But the mind contact associated with mind door adverting is a condition in one way only, as decisive support condition, for the kinds of feeling that occur in the mind door as registration in the sense sphere. This is the detailed explanation of the clause with contact as condition, feeling. 8. Craving. 233 As regards the clause with feeling as condition, craving. 6 Cravings, for things visible and all the rest, are treated here, and each of these, when it occurs, can in one of 3 modes appear. 234 6 kinds of craving are shown in the analysis of this clause in the Vibhoga as visible data craving, sound, odor, flavor, tangible data, and mental data craving, Vibite 136, called after their objects, as a son is called after his father banker's son, Brahman's son. Each of these 6 kinds of craving is reckoned threefold according to its mode of occurrence as craving for sense desires, craving for becoming, or craving for non-becoming. 235 When visible data craving occurs enjoying with sense desire enjoyment of visible datum as object that has come into the focus of the eye, it is called craving for sense desires. But when that same visible data craving occurs along with the eternity view that assumes that same object to be lasting and eternal, 568 it is called craving for becoming, for it is the greed accompanying the eternity view that is called craving for becoming. When it occurs along with the annihilation view that assumes that same object to break up and be destroyed, it is called craving for non-becoming, for it is the greed accompanying the annihilation view that is called craving for non-becoming. So, also in the case of craving for sounds, and so on. These amount to 18 kinds of craving. The 18 with respect to one's own visible data, one's own appearance, etc., and 18 with respect to external visible data, another's appearance, etc. together make 36 kinds. 36 in the past, 36 in the future, and 36 in the present, make 108 kinds of craving. When these are reduced again, they should be understood to amount to the 6 kinds only with visible data, etc., as object, and these, to 3 only, as craving for sense desires, and so on. 236 Out of selfish affection for feeling after taking pleasure in it when it arises through a visible datum as object, etc., these beings accord much honor to painters, musicians, perfumers, cooks, weavers, distillers of elixirs 39 physicians, etc., who furnish respectively visible data as object, etc., just as out of affection for a child they reward the child's nurse after taking pleasure in the child. That is why it should be understood that these 3 kinds of craving have feeling as their condition. 237 What is intended here is but resultant pleasant feeling, hence 'tis a condition in one way for all this craving's occurrence. In one way, it is a condition as decisive support condition only. 238 Or alternatively, a man in pain for pleasure longs, and finding pleasure, longs for more, the peace of equanimity is counted pleasure too, therefore.